Hello students, now we are going to discuss some solved examples of negation of quantified statements. Let us start from second example. Some students of class 10 are 16-year-old. Again you will see that here some is the existential quantifier and the remaining part of this statement, students of class 10 are 16-year-old, it is an open sentence. Now to take its negation, last time I told you, you have to follow two steps. In the first step, replace existential quantifier by universal quantifier and the universal quantifier by existential quantifier depending on the situation. And the second step, take the negation of corresponding open sentence. So accordingly, the negation of this second example, some students of class 10 are 16-year-olds, it becomes no student of class 10 is 16-year-old. Let us move to the third example. There exists small n belong to capital N. Here capital N stands for set of natural number such that n plus 8 greater than 11. Okay. To take the negation, replace there exists by for all and the open sentence n plus 8 greater than 11. Take its negation. So the negation of given quantified statement becomes for all n belong to capital N, n plus 8 less than 11. Move to the fourth example. For all x belong to capital N, 2x plus 1 is odd. Now its negation becomes there exists x belong to n, 2x plus 1 is not odd. There exists x belong to n, 2x plus 1 is not odd. Let us move to the next subtitle, converse, inverse and contrapositive. Okay, how to obtain the converse, inverse and contrapositive of given implicational statement. Note that we can discuss these concepts converse, inverse and contrapositive only for implication and not other compound statements. From the implication P implies Q, we can obtain three new implications and those new implications are titled as converse, inverse and contrapositive. Now from the implication P implies Q, how to obtain the converse? Note that in the implicational statement P implies Q, P is called antecedent while Q is called consequent. Okay, so to obtain its converse, keeping the connective as it is, implication, only replace the places of antecedent and consequent. Q should be replaced at the place of P and P should be replaced at the place of Q. So the converse of P implies Q becomes Q implies P. Now how to obtain the inverse? Take the implication P implies Q, keeping the connective same, also keeping the position of antecedent and consequent as it is, only take their negations. Take the negation of antecedent P, take the negation of consequent Q. So its inverse become negation of P implies negation of Q. Now contrapositive. Okay. In converse, we have made the interchanging. In the inverse, we have taken the inverse, negation. Now in contrapositive, we have to take two actions at a time. Interchange the places as well as take their negations. So the contrapositive of P implies Q becomes negation of Q implies negation of P. So like this way, for the implicational statement P implies Q, we can obtain its converse, inverse and contrapositive. Let us discuss some examples over that. Write the converse, inverse and contrapositive of the following statements. First one, if a function is differentiable, then it is continuous. This is the implicational statement. To obtain its converse, inverse and contrapositive, first of all, we transform it into symbolic form. Now for the transformation, we need to identify simple statements included in it and denote them by small letters such as P, Q, R, so and so, etc. So in this implicational statement, the first simple statement is a function is differentiable. Let us denote it by symbol P. The second simple statement, it is continuous, denoted by the symbol Q. So the symbolic form of given implicational statement becomes P implies Q. Now from symbolic form, it becomes easy to obtain the converse, inverse and contrapositive. Later again we can convert them into theoretical form. Now the converse of P implies Q. It is Q implies P according to our definition. Now Q implies P can be converted into theoretical form. If a function is continuous, then it is differentiable. Hence we can obtain the converse of given theoretical implicational statement. Now we obtain the inverse. Inverse in the symbolic form we know already, it is negation of P implies negation of Q. Now convert it into theoretical form. Now why to convert it into theoretical form? Because our original problem, it is given in the theoretical form. So ultimately we need the answer in theoretical form. So the theoretical form of the inverse, negation of P implies negation of Q, is if a function is not differentiable, then it is not continuous. Now contrapositive. Contrapositive, its symbolic form is negation of Q implies negation of P. Again, the theoretical form of contrapositive, if a function is not continuous, then it is not differentiable. So for the given given statement, we can obtain its converse, inverse and contrapositive. Second example, if it rains, then the match will be cancelled. Let us denote it rains by the symbol P, match will be cancelled by the symbol Q. Therefore, the symbolic form of given statement is P implies Q. Now the converse, Q implies P, can be represented in the theoretical form. If the match gets cancelled, then it rains. Inverse. Inverse of given implicational statement is negation of P implies negation of Q. Its theoretical form, if it does not rain, then the match will not be cancelled. In the simple statements we have to add not, because negation stands for not. Third one, its contrapositive is negation of Q implies negation of P. The theoretical form, if the match is not cancelled, then it does not rain. Move to the next title, algebra of statements. It is also called as operations on statements. Okay, there are different operations we can perform on the statements. Now the first operation, it is labeled as idempotent law. What is the idempotent law? P and negation of P is equivalent to P. P or P is equivalent to P, meaning that whenever we are taking the conjunction of any statement with itself, the result is statement itself. Or if you are taking the disjunction of any statement with itself, again the result is itself. That the idempotent law suggests us. Now commutative law. Now what is the meaning of commute? Commute means interchange. Okay. So commutative law says us P or Q is equivalent to Q or P. Meaning that in the disjunction, the places of P, simple statements P and Q can be interchanged. Still the original statement remains same. There is no change at all. Again, the second commutative law, this is the commutative law for conjunction. P and Q is equivalent to Q and P. So these are the two commutative laws. One of them is for conjunction and second is for disjunction. Now associative law. Associative law tells us how to take the conjunction or disjunction of three statements at a time. So the first associative law, P and Q and R is equivalent to P and Q and R is equivalent to P and Q and R. Meaning that if you want to take the conjunction of three simple statements, if you want, you can take the conjunction of P, Q first, then take the conjunction of the resulting statement with simple statement R. Or you can take the conjunction of Q and R first and then the conjunction of P with the resulting statement. Still the original statement remains same. Its meaning remains same. No change at all. Now the associative law for disjunction. P or Q or R is equivalent to P or Q or R is equivalent to P or Q or R. Distributive law. Why we are calling this as distributive? Because we are distributing some part. Okay. See the first one. P and Q or R is equivalent to P and Q or P and R. Here what happened? The part P and it is distributed to each of the bracketed simple statement. First of all, P and is given to Q, then P and is given to R. So it becomes P and Q, P and R, and they are interconnected by the connective OR. That is also called as distributive law of conjunction over disjunction. Similarly, you can discuss the distributive law of disjunction over conjunction. P or Q and R is equivalent to P or Q and P or R. So these are the two distributive laws. De Morgan's laws. I think De Morgan's laws we already stated last lecture. De Morgan is one of the well-known mathematician. He has been derived some important results in set theory as well as in logic that I told you last time. Now the first distributive law, negation of P and Q is equivalent to negation of P or negation of Q. So what is the first distributive? De Morgan's law suggests us negation of conjunction is equivalent to disjunction of negations. The second distributive law, second De Morgan law, negation of P or Q is equivalent to negation of P and negation of Q. Next, identity law. P and T is equivalent to P. Taking the conjunction of any statement P with tautology T, the result is the statement P itself. P and F is equivalent to F. Conjunction of any statement P with contradiction F is the contradiction F. P or F is equivalent to P. Disjunction of any statement P with the contradiction F is the statement P itself. And P or T is equivalent to T, meaning that the junction of any simple statement P with tautology T is the tautology T. The result is tautology T. After that, complement law. P and negation of P is F. F stands for contradiction. P or negation of P is equivalent to T. T stands for tautology. Absorption law. P or P and Q is equivalent to P. Second absorption law. P and P or Q is equivalent to P. Conditional law. There is only one conditional law. P implies Q is equivalent to negation of P or Q. Latter biconditional law. P double implication Q is equivalent to P implies Q and Q implies P. That is equivalent to negation of P or Q and negation of Q or P. Now you can verify all these algebra of the statements, all these laws using truth table. You will see that both sides of each of the law, they are equivalent. They have same truth values. This is the homework for you. You can work out and you can verify yourself. Move to the next one. Let us discuss some solved examples depending on the theoretical part we have studied up till. Write the negations of the following stating the rules used. The first one, P or Q and Q or negation of R. We want to obtain its negation. So we can use different laws, just we already discussed. Negation of P or Q and Q or negation of R. Now to take the negation of this statement, you can use the De Morgan law. P or Q, you can say M. Q or negation of R, you can say N. So it becomes negation of M and N. So according to De Morgan law, negation of M and N, it is negation of M or negation of N. Okay, so M stands for P or Q. So on the right hand side you are getting negation of P or Q, or negation of N, but N stands for Q or R. So you are getting negation of P or Q or negation of Q or negation of R. Again, in the first bracket, negation of P or Q, you can use De Morgan law. According to De Morgan law, it becomes negation of P and negation of Q. Or for the second bracket, again use the De Morgan law. It becomes negation of Q and negation of R. But we know that double negation of any simple statement is the statement itself. So we are getting negation of R as R only. Next. Now here you can use the commutative law. According to commutative law, negation of P, negation of Q, they can be interchanged. So we are getting negation of Q and negation of P, or negation of Q and R. Now to shift the next step, we are using distributive law, but note that we are using the distributive law in reverse direction, not in the forward direction. Here negation of Q is common in the both brackets, so that can be taken out. Also and is common, that can be taken out, and in the bracket you can club remaining part. So we are getting negation of Q and negation of P or R. So like this way we can obtain the negation of given proposition. Second example, P implies Q or R. Let us take its negation again using all these laws. Negation of P implies Q or R. First of all, you can use De Morgan law. Negation of P implies Q and negation of R. Now you can use negation of P implies Q that is P and negation of Q. That is known to you. You can verify this result also using truth table. So here negation of P implies Q can be replaced by P and negation of Q, and the remaining part and negation of R can be carried as it is. Like this way we get the negation of given proposition. Third one, negation of P and Q or R. First of all, you can use De Morgan law. Negation of P or negation of Q or R. Now in the second bracket, again use De Morgan law, keeping the first part as it is. Negation of P or, so according to De Morgan law, negation of Q or R becomes negation of Q and negation of R. So here we got the negation of third proposition, P and Q or R. Move to the fourth one, negation of P and Q or P and negation of Q. According to De Morgan law, it becomes negation of P and Q and negation of P and negation of Q. Again use the De Morgan law. Negation of P, it is P or negation of Q, and negation of P or double negation of Q, it can be replaced by Q. Fifth one, negation of P and Q implies negation of P or R. So again we know that negation of P implies Q, it is P and negation of Q. One can make use of this result. So according to this bracketed result, we can write the negation of given proposition. Negation of P and Q implies negation of P or R. It becomes P and Q and negation of P or R. In the second bracket, use the De Morgan law. It becomes P and negation of R. First bracket can be carried as it is. Now you can use associative law. So according to associative law, here brackets can be open. Q and P and P and negation of R. Now P and P is P according to idempotent law. So it becomes Q and P and negation of R. Example 2. Rewrite the following statements without using if then. Statements are in the form if then. We have to remove if then and we have to write the statement in the other form without changing the meaning. The first example, if the price increase, then the wages rise. Let us denote P by price increase, Q by wages rise. Okay, so the symbolic form is P implies Q, but we know that P implies Q is equivalent to negation of P or Q. So in the conditional statement, P implies Q can be written in other form, negation of P or Q. Now negation of P or Q in theoretical form, price do not increase or the wages rise. Second one. Now the second example is, if it is cold, then we wear woolen cloths. Denote it is cold by P and we wear woolen clothes by Q. So again the symbolic form of given statement is P implies Q. It is equivalent to negation of P or Q, and its theoretical form is it is not cold or we wear woolen clothes. Example number 3. Without using truth table, prove that P double implication Q equivalent to negation of P and negation of Q and negation of Q and negation of P. We have to prove this result. Now to prove this result, we have to make use of algebra of statements and not the truth table. So the solution, P double implication Q. According to biconditional law, P double implication Q can be written as P implies Q and Q implies P. Now according to conditional law, P implies Q can be replaced by negation of P or Q. Also Q implies P can be replaced by negation of Q or P. And now you can use De Morgan's laws. De Morgan's laws we are using in the reverse direction. Negation of P or Q can be written as negation of P and negation of Q. And here also in the second bracket you can use De Morgan's law in reverse direction. So it becomes negation of Q and negation of P. Okay. Now similarly this second and third example you can see yourself. The references are already given here. You try to learn them yourself. Now let us move to the next title, application of logic to switching circuit. Now switching circuit you already learned. You are studying in physics, electronics. Okay. Here we are going to learn the behavior of switching circuit using the mathematical logic. And for that purpose we need to transform the switching circuits into logical form. Okay. We shall study how the theory of logic can be applied in switching network. We have seen that logical statement can be either true or false. That means its truth value is either T or F. A similar situation exists in various electrical devices. You can correlate the logical statements with the situations in electrical circuits. For example, an electric switch can be on or off. There are only one of the two stages the electric switch acquire. In an electric circuit, switches are connected by wires. If the switch is in the on state, it allows the electric current to pass next. And if it is in the off position, it does not allow the electric current to pass next. We now define the term switch as follows. We have the definition of switch. A switch is a device. Switch is a device which acquire only one of the two states, either on or off. In on state, it allows the current to flow, and in off state, it does not allow the current to flow. Generally, these switches are denoted by capital letters S. For different switches, you can use S subscript 1, S subscript 2, S subscript 3, so and so, etc. Okay. Now here figure 1.1 and figure 1.2. You can observe. In figure 1.1, the picture form of switch is given to you, while in the second figure 1.2, the electric circuit is in front of you. Okay. In figure 1.2, we consider circuit containing electric lamp L controlled by switch S. Figure 1.2 contains switch, battery as well as lamp. Whenever this switch is in the on position, the current from battery reach to the lamp and the lamp glow. Whenever the switch S is in the off state, it does not allow the current to pass from battery to lamp and the lamp does not glow. When the switch S is closed, close means in the on position, then the current flows in the circuit and hence the lamp glows. When the switch S is in the open state, means off states, the current does not flow in the circuit and subsequently the lamp does not glow. The theory of symbolic logic can be used to represent a circuit by statement pattern. Now what we are going to do, these different states of the switch we are going to represent using the logical statements. Again, the connection of the switches in the circuit, they can be represented using the logical compound statements. And using the truth table of those logical compound statements, one can study the behavior of switching circuit. Okay. Now that part we are going to discuss next lecture. Today will be stop here. Thank you.